And here we are. So my name is Sharon Whiteman, and it's my great pleasure and privilege to be here with Robyn Sully. And each and every one of you, my partners in this endeavor to bring weekly training to the Australasian region are Gary Knapp and Diana Hunter. And we love being with you. And today, it feels like it's been a long time coming. It's been too long, Robyn. I'm so grateful to have you here as our guest.
Thanks.
And for those of you, I know there's quite a few people still arriving. We respect that Saturday mornings are busy. And also, I'd like to acknowledge that not everybody would have had the opportunity to hear from Robyn previously. So we're very lucky to have her. Give you a little bit about her background. Robyn has been a very passionate educator for the benefits of wellness since being introduced to Manatech science and the supplements over 20 years ago. Having been a nurse, she knew that to address chronic health challenges needed more than a drug mentality. Following her own personal experience in recovering her wellness, she has consistently researched and is committed to sharing the blessings that the Manatech supplements have to offer. She was awarded the Mike Forrest Giving Spirit Award in 2013 and the Ray Robbins Giving Spirit Award in the US in 2014. Robyn's passion is to see an educated people living in wellness and sharing how we can be a solution to one of the world's biggest problems, malnutrition, through our M5M program. So in this time this morning, we're going to be looking at what your absolute foundation for cellular wellness, and there's no one better to help us with that than Robyn. So Robyn, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Sharon. It's a privilege actually to be here, and I thank you for the opportunity of being able to share what 20 years have taught me in being in Manatech, and it's been the best 20 years of my life. I thank God every day for a car accident.
Yeah, well, I'm sure you'll talk about that. So Robyn, I'm going to go off camera, but I'll be right here and I'll be moving the slides for you when you're needed.
Go on. Thanks, Sharon. Well, good morning, everybody, and I don't take it for granted that you've all taken time out to listen to my call this morning, and it is my earnest prayer that my presentation on the absolute foundation for cellular wellness will help you as you seek to share this information with everybody, for we are living in very desperate times when it comes to immune function. And so we want to continue. Thanks, Sharon. Well, first of all, I thought I might just give a few points as to why it is important to actually understand the foundation for cellular wellness. Well, here's some little points here that you might like to consider. We live in a very toxic environment, and our dear Dr. Nugent has told us we've got now over 100,000 toxic chemicals in our environment that weren't there before the 1930s. So the human body's cell structure actually has to deal with these because we're breathing them in and we're taking them in. You can see by the picture here that we have chemicals and pesticides, fungicides and everything on our farms today that weren't there before. We have soil depletion that comes about by the fact that they grow the same crops constantly on the same block of dirt, and then they don't cover crop very often now. Our farming practices are a big problem. We have green harvesting of the crops. They're picked green, they're stored, they're gassed to ripen, and then we get them in our big supermarkets as fresh as best. Well, you might say, Robyn, I eat healthily. Well, we must not forget that we have decreased nutritional content in all our fruits and veggies. And I think the picture down the bottom there is a classic example of what's happening to us. Thanks, Sharon. Another thing that we need to consider for foundational wellness is our aging. We're all aging every day. And as our faces age, as you can see the picture of the lady, so too do our cells inside. We don't absorb the nutrients from our foods as well as we did when we were younger because we don't produce sufficient gastric enzymes. And our medications affect nutrient absorption. Most people today, I'm 71 very shortly, and most people today are on some form of a pharmaceutical medication, and that impacts on nutrient absorption. Thanks, Sharon. Stress. Well, we all know stress, don't we? It's been very stressful 12 months for most people. It's chronic lifestyle stress. We have nutritional stress. Our cells get stressed inside. exercise produces stress, and it needs an increased amount of nutrients to deal with that stress. And our body is using more fuel as we do exercise, so we need to add more nutrients. Thanks, Sharon. And I mentioned before the declining nutrient content. Well, this is just a couple of examples for you. In 1951, when the research study was first recorded, a cup of spinach in 51 had 60, got all our iron rather from that. But today we need 65 cups to get the same amount. Now, I don't know about you, but I couldn't even eat one full cup of cut up raw spinach. And in 51, we only needed 2 peaches to get the recommended daily allowance for vitamin A, one of the nutrients in peaches. Today, we need 53 of them. Try eating it. It's not easy. Thanks, Sharon. So we say, are you getting enough of the good stuff? Now, we've had many different food pyramids over the years to us. And in 1994, into the scene came things called nutritional glycans. And science showed us that 6 of the 8 that we need for what we'll talk about later, cellular communication, were actually missing from the average diet. And then in 1995, the recommendation was 5 to 7 servings of fruit and veggies. Now, a serving is 1 cup. And in 2012, we needed 7 to 14 servings of fruits and veggies every day. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't, and I couldn't eat that amount. And from then on, they stopped the research because they knew nobody was doing it and it was far too expensive to continue it. So supplementation becomes necessary. Thanks, Sharon. Science even agrees with us, which is strange, isn't it? Hey, the American Medical Association journal in 2002, this is just a quote I've taken from it. It's not the full quote, but it's good enough for us. There's strong evidence from randomized trials that it appears prudent for all adults to take vitamin supplements. And, you know, that recommendation was made just on the vitamin C decline alone. So you can imagine it's right across the board of all the nutrients. Thanks, Sharon. And we also have declining immune function. As we age, our immune function goes down. And when it's now challenged with all the challenges we have of today, they have found that in the last 20 years, there's a 30% decline. And in each year, it's declining now at 3 to 5%. So just think of where our poor little kiddies are today. Thanks, Sharon. So supplementing. I'm not sure if you realise, but 95% of minerals and vitamin supplements today actually have their origin in synthetics. The vitamins come from the petroleum industry and minerals are from the rock and dirt. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't like to eat rocks and I certainly can't swallow dirt. So they're not very healthy for us. So we need to get them, as the picture shows you, from our fruits and our vegetables as best we can. Thanks, Sharon. So you might say, well, Robyn, choosing is very hard. Yes, I quite agree. Choosing is hard. Nearly every week in my letterbox, I get a brochure and I get all these pages and pages advertising vitamins, minerals, and every other thing for health from the chemist. So it's like the puzzle on the right-hand side here, a boggle. But our supplements, we teach everybody they should be natural and food sourced where possible. They need to be safe, effective, high quality, proven to work, and they should be science-based. Thanks, Sharon. There's many challenges to all of us. We can lose motivation. I know I've been in that camp many times. Prior to starting on the supplements, I almost gave up after my motor vehicle accident, 8 years living in constant pain and misery. I thought there was no hope. I was trying everything that everybody put before me in a natural, supposed natural fashion. And so I nearly lost motivation. And we can lose focus. It's not easy to stay focused. There's so many things coming at us from every direction. And you can say, well, Robyn, I've tried it all before. I said that too when Julie rang me 6 times, pressuring me to listen to the story of Manatech and the glycans. And you don't know where to start. And it all seems just too hard. Well, I've got hope for you, so keep listening. Thanks, Sharon. There's one big reason why we need to listen, because if we take care of our bodies, it's the only place that we have to live. So it's very important that we take care of it. Thanks, Sharon. So you might say, well, Robyn, where do I start? Okay, let's go. Here we go, Sharon. Well, it starts with the basics. It starts with cellular health. And you know, this is a brand new concept. When I recently had little Vincent in hospital for 3.5 months, and some of you know Vincent's story, the hospital didn't even want to know about cellular health when I tried to explain it. So we just pushed on ourselves. Thanks, Sharon. So we see here that the cell is the basic unit of the body. You and I start from 2 cells, one a female and one a male, and they come together, they form a zygote, and from there the cells keep multiplying. And at the end of the day, we have a beautiful little baby, and that's you and me now. So the cell is the basic unit of the body. Healthy cells make healthy tissues make healthy organs, and healthy organs make a healthy you. So that's where we're starting, right there at the top of that pyramid at the cell level. Thanks, Sharon. Now, cells are very complex in their design. This picture here shows you just how complex a cell is. You see, they're working 24/7 every day. They replicate over 200 billion cells every day. Can you really grasp that in your mind? Trillions of cells make us up, make us who we are. And we are very intelligently designed. I like to say, fearfully and wonderfully made. And the essence of human health is actually that our cells need to be very, very healthy. Thanks, Sharon. So what do cells need to live? Everything that's living has to feed itself on something. So what do cells need? Well, they need lots of things. There's just a few I've put here: vitamins, minerals, essential fatty acids, proteins and carbs, phytonutrients, and we're going to major this morning on these nutritional glycans because they're the foundation. All the others do not work well unless we have the nutritional glycans. And I trust at the end of the presentation you'll understand why I've chosen just to concentrate on 2 basic Manatech products. Thanks, Sharon. Well, the foundation for cellular wellness, as I mentioned, are the nutritional glycans. I'm sorry this is a bit blurry, but I couldn't find a better one. So Manatech says when your cells speak, your body listens. And these are 8 essential glycans: glucose, galactose, fucose, not fructose, fucose, mannose, xylose, and then 3 from an N-acetyl range: glucosamine, galactosamine, and uramic acid. Now, altogether, these make what you see there a chain, and that chain is called a glycoprotein chain, and that's the way our cells communicate, as you'll see as we go on. Thanks, Sharon. So what are the glycans? Well, glycans are essential to cell communication and immune modulation. And without complete glycan structure, cells cannot function properly because they can't talk. The 8 vital glycans are essential for building proper structures called glycoproteins, which enable our cells to communicate correctly. This was first put in Harper's Biochemistry, which the section on these glycoproteins is edited by our beloved Professor Robert K. Murray. Now, some of you may know him. I know him personally. He's a wonderful man. And in his great years, over 50 years of research and work, he did a great work for all of us. The glycoproteins, I just have a little quote here that I'd like to read. It says that they're chain-like structures, and they're composed of single sugar molecules linked together by chemical bonds. The glycans are actually attached to protein and lipid strands. but we're just going to be talking about the protein strands. Thanks, Sharon. Well, we call them the sweet language of life. There are 8 unique bioactive glycans, and they form your cellular alphabet, as I mentioned before. There they are on the right-hand side there. Our cells communicate, and they have a signaling code. Thanks, Sharon. Now, I've got the best news in 2021. We've had a whole host of bad news in 2020, but in 2021, we've got really good news. Cellular communication, it's the basis of your cell's structure and function. Now, let that really sink in and think about what's going on in our society and in our big wide world at the moment. Structure and function of our cells, our immune system function. Every cell needs these glycans. On the bottom side here of the slide, you'll see the immune cell, and you'll see the replication there of your little protein strands, and on that you'll see all these little dots. They are your glycans, and they form an infinitesimal different combination. Science cannot, at the present time, even code all of that. So the cell says every day, nourish me, repair me, destroy me, protect me, and regulate me. So if we take in a virus, what's going to happen? That beautiful immune cell there is going to go, right, I'm going to recognize you, I've got my glycans on, and I'm going to either repair you or destroy you. And that's what happens. Thanks, Sharon. Cellular communication is much like our English uppercase alphabet. You see at the top there, you have a long and a short stroke, and you have a large and a smaller semicircle. Each of those put together can make our uppercase alphabet. If I were to say to you, remove the big purple one, there are many letters that you could not write. So we would miscommunicate. And in 1990, in biotechnology, it was said that almost without exception, whenever 2 or more living cells interact in a specific way, the cell surface carbohydrates will be involved. And you know, 1990 is a few years ago now, isn't it? But do you know, the more you research this, the more fascinating it becomes to me to realize how up to date that particular quote really is. Thanks, Sharon. Cells are constantly at work, as I said before, 24/7. Now, reading and sending messages is the function of these glycoproteins. They check out our hormones, enzymes, viral invaders, bacteria, good and bad, and cancer cells. So I trust you can see that we need these. You see, these glycans are actually on every molecule in nature, and it's what they attach to that actually makes them good or bad. So if we've got a bacterium coming into our body and it happens to have, say, a mannose molecule on its end there, then it's going to attach if we don't have it on our cell structure. And if we get sufficient of them, we'll start to get sick. So we don't want to get sick, so we need to build a strong immune function. And I hope by the end of this, that's what you'll get in. And you notice there that virus? Look at it, attaching itself. So we don't want to have that happening, do we? Thanks, Sharon. And this was one of the greatest joys for me, was to find this National Academy of Science press in 2012. They produced a beautiful document, 206 pages it is, Transforming Glycoscience, a roadmap for the future. And that's exactly what it is. It is a roadmap. And they told us that every disease that affects humans significantly involves the glycans. Thanks, Sharon. Now we've got a great reset happening, but it's a better reset than what the world's offering. This is the Cellular Reset. And I love this man. I had the privilege of meeting him at Manifest one year and understanding his glorious and beautiful giving heart. A most wonderful man, Dr. Ben Carson. And with personal experience, Ben Carson used these products when challenged with a very heavy health challenge. He said, the thing that struck me, about glycobiology was how it could impact the immune system. Now, what words we need for today from such an accredited and highly respected medical man, Ben Carson. Thanks, Sharon. They are vitally essential. They determine your blood group. All your blood groups are all the same, except A and B differ in just the missing glycan on each end. We need it for cellular replication. We need these glycans for fertilization. We need them for healthy breast milk. Do you know that 5 of these 8 glycans are actually found in human mother's breast milk? Now you understand why breastfed babies scientifically show a much stronger immune function all through life than bottle-fed babies. Nothing does it better than nature. And it's implicated in the anti-inflammatory process. So the glycans are vitally important because inflammatory process is the root of all disease. Thanks, Sharon. Now, cellular communication can be made easy to understand. What happens if you have an incorrect number on your mobile phone when you're dialing it? You don't get the person you're trying to speak to. And really, that's the simple side of glycobiology, missing glycans, missing numbers on a mobile phone. Thanks, Sharon. Now, we call it, and that the glycans are actually the umbrella for all wellness, whether it's general nutrition, whether it's your immune function, your brain, and we're going to learn about that as we go on, fat loss, fitness, anti-aging, and skin and beauty. Manatech has it all covered, all of the major areas that we need wellness in. Thanks, Sharon. Now, Manatech is the company that produces these glycans. They're pioneers. They're a nutritional glycobiology company, basically. We have a 27-year proven track record. I came in 20 years ago, so Manatech was a baby. Then it was 7 years old. And nutritional glycobiology teaches us that plant-based nutrients help with cell-to-cell communication in our bodies. And that's a picture of the Manatech building in Texas. Thanks, Sharon. Now, the great cellular reset. It improves brain function, memory, concentration, attentiveness, alertness. It supports our digestive system function, and it supports cellular communication. It has been shown to decrease irritability. Now, who doesn't need that in this day and generation? And it modulates your immune system. And I'll show you a slide later which can scientifically prove that last statement. And that to me is something to really embrace. Ambrotose powder, Ambrotose Life, and Manopol. Wonderful combinations. I use Ambrotose Complex and I use Manopol every single day. Thanks, Sharon. So mask your cells up. Here we go. Look at him with his mask on. The great glyco mask for all your cells. Only our mask is actually invisible. We don't have to put it on our face like that because we have it inside, masking all our cells. Thanks, Sharon. And this is the news flash that I was referring to before about modulation. This was done by Dr. Richard Bloomer, and he's a very credited doctor in the US, and he did research studies. And he said Ambrotose is very well tolerated. It affects immune function and supports your body's ability to handle cellular adversity. Now, that's something that we need today, cellular adversity. Think about what's happening in the world. These findings show Ambrotose supplementation is likely an immune system modulator. And that's what we need. We need the modulation of the immune system. All our systems need to be in balance, homeostasis. Thanks, Sharon. Now I'm going to go on to the next section, which is the human microbiome. Humans as microbiomes. Okay, we've got 100 trillion microbes in the human intestines, 3 million genes, 2 kilograms of weight it weighs, between 300 and 1,000 species of bacteria, and it controls almost all bodily functions. And I hope by the time we get to the end, you'll see the incredible gut-brain relationship. Thanks, Sharon. This is a bit blurry, but you see, gut flora and your brain is terribly important. Do you know, as I researched, I found that way back, BC, they actually understood this important thing, and they had to treat the gut. And they did many funny things, a way to treat it. We don't have to. We can take GI Pro Balance. But you see, the glycans are very, very important. There's a little quote I have here, and it's from one of the recent researchers, 2020 actually. Microbes in the gut produce neurotransmitters and metabolites like butyrate. Listen to Dr. Nugent on butyrate. Very interesting. These circulate to the brain, and they alter cell activity at the blood-brain barrier. Inflammation and chronic disease are affected by the microbiome. So that's very important to understand, the microbiome. And that's just, this is a good one on this side, and this is one that is unstable from your environment and everything. So they call it the gut-brain axis. If you research it, you'll be fascinated. Thanks, Sharon. So we're actually walking bacteria. Our body has 10 times more bacteria than human cells. The microbiome has to feed. You have to feed it. And what you put into your mouth, what you allow your thoughts to dwell upon, what is in our environment, all of these things are feeding our microbiome. Thanks, Sharon. Inflammation is the big issue. So studies are showing that every kind of inflammatory challenge has a need for the balance of gut bacteria, right? So now you're going to see that the foundation is actually in your gut, the guts of it all. Thanks, Sharon. Your health starts in your gut. It's a symbiotic, our product, which means a pre and a probiotic together. In our particular one here in Australia at the moment, we have 6 strains of beneficial bacteria, and it supports our gut health, and it improves your inflammatory biomarkers. And that's been proven in scientific research studies. Thanks, Sharon. GI Pro has wonderful power. It can survive the harsh stomach acids. It helps in the absorption of our nutrients. And it has a synergistic power when it is combined with ambrottose. And it loves ambrottose powder. I call them twins. And it makes your ambrottose powder work much better. Thanks, Sharon. We have some improved benefits. On the left there, you see that your health starts in your gut. And Kyna's put on my slide for me, SOS, right across your gut. And it is very important. Improved cellular communication. And this is another very interesting one I found, was the improved colonic gene expression. And you know, I believe that's why my little Vincent is cognitively functioning extremely well. Unbelievably so, even after the incredible challenge we faced in the last 12 months with toxic shock syndrome and him almost passing away. His colonic gene expression has been impacted because I've been with his parents pouring in the glycans and the GI Pro into his body. And there are overall benefits. As I mentioned, immune health, the absorption of our nutrients, academic improvement. And that's what I'm seeing in Vincent. I homeschooled him for the last 12 months here, and the academic improvement, and even his speech pathologist has noticed incredible improvements. And his brain health, elevation of mood, and decreased fear, worry, and depression. Now, who does not need that in this day and age? Thanks. Ambrottose and GI Pro Balance, your perfect foundation for cellular wellness. GI Pro and ambrottose. I noticed a question there asking what colonic gene expression was. Well, just very quickly, without trying to be scientific in any way, it means how your genes express whatever is on them. Now, if we can, in science it's called dumb down, that gene expression via our nutrient intake, then that gene won't express bad things. And that's why, if you know the story of Michelle Derechets, the Down syndrome little girl from Las Vegas, you will see her Down's features even modulating. And that's what we've seen in Vincent. Right? It doesn't change the fact that his gene is still a trisomy 21, but it means that the expression of that gene, with all of its bad parts of it, won't express themselves so much. And you know, Vincent's a little Vietnamese, and I've asked his parents, do other Vietnamese really know that Vincent is a Down syndrome? And many of them don't, because he doesn't look expressly Downs. He looks Asian, and he's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. He's handsome. Okay, thanks, Sharon. Now, wellness is our greatest asset. It doesn't matter how much money you have in the bank, how many big houses or cars you drive, how many holidays you have. You can't even go on one at the moment. But anyway, our wellness is our greatest asset, and we need to invest in it so that we can be functioning at our optimal level. Good health is important, but you know, it's only one part of wellness. Every single day, you and I have to make conscious choices to constantly improve our overall quality of life. That comes physically. We can go and do walking exercises, 30 minutes every day. It means financially, and Manatech offers a wonderful opportunity for you to pay for your own products through opening your mouth and sharing this information with a few people. And emotionally, emotion is a huge thing. I have found that through my life. Emotion is a big thing. And I can testify very, very clearly how when I started the products from my car accident, 8 years after the accident, my emotion was still very much up in my mouth. But when I took the products after 6, 7, 8 months, I started to notice emotionally I was much stronger. I started to notice there was something inside of me that was actually stronger and able to help with things like when you're traumatized, bad news affects you. Post-traumatic stress disorder is a real thing. And I lived it for 4 or 5 years very, very strongly. So emotionally, it does wonders for us using these products. Thanks, Sharon. Now, Manatech has an additional suite of products which affect wellness. There's a few here. This is an older slide, but there's a few on here that you might like to consider. ImmunoStart is another wonderful product for immune function. Very important. Suck them, let them go into your bloodstream, and they'll start to do their job. Omega-3s, the antioxidants are very important in this day and age. We have the beautiful youth range of our skincare products. We have fat loss systems. Our beautiful Manna Bears are back. Vincent sat up yesterday and ate 8 of them when he was doing his schoolwork. I give them to him as a reward. And he loves them, and he says, I want Manna Bear, please, Robo. And it's lovely to hear him say that. First time he said sentences in 13 years. So everything we need to support our health and well-being, we have science-backed, safe, reliable, proven effective products. Thanks, Sharon. So the company, as I've mentioned, is Manatech. Manatech was actually founded in 1994. It operates in over 25 countries. They've invested tens of millions of dollars in what's called research and development. You know, now this is extremely important because research and development is not the hallmark of most nutritional supplemental companies. So Manatech is streets ahead. We have a beautiful glycobiology, state-of-the-art laboratory. And when I went there and took one of a Brisbane doctor actually there, she was blown away with the Manatech R&D lab. It was more than she could cope. She was so thrilled. We have science proven through multiple human clinical trials on our products, not just on the ingredient outside the human body, outside blood serum. They're actually taken on inside the body. So human people, real people with real blood samples are actually committing into these trials. And this is wonderful because that's this gold standard that the pharmaceutical companies boast about, and we can too. We have over 100 patents in our global markets, and the two products I've chosen to major on today for immune function and the foundation of our wellness, the Ambitose Nutritional Glycan product and the GI Pro Balance, both have global patents. So we can be sure that we're safe with these products. You can take any amount. You know, there was a time when Vincent was taking 8 tubs of Ambitose Complex every day for over 3 years when he was a baby. So there's no problem with it. And on the bottom there, we're proud to partner with Manatech, because I'm going to talk a little bit about our Mission 5 Million program, which is very dear to my heart. And I hope it will be dear to yours too, and it'll thrust you on to talk about the products. Thanks, Sharon. Well, Mission 5 Million, it's nutrition with a purpose. We are linking consumers to malnourished children. We have partners in 25 countries. It's a social entrepreneurship program. On the bottom left, you see this gorgeous little girl here. When she came to the orphanage, the first picture was the picture of malnutrition, a very sick child. She couldn't even stand up. And, you know, 4 months into the program, look at the difference. And if I only had the recent one, we could have put her there. She is the most beautiful little girl. And we all have our own little testimonies of children that we've been able to help, and see that. If I put Vincent there, you'd be amazed at his beautiful countenance now. Up at the top there, we had the privilege at Manifest a couple of years ago of actually packing these 1 meal products for the children. Each of those packets are able to feed 5 children 1 meal for the day. And you know, everybody, sometimes that's all they get is 1 meal. So go out and share these stories, these messages, so that we can be involved. I fortunately got the Mission 5 Million email early this morning, and it was majoring on the Philippines. And it said that 95 children die from malnutrition every single day in the Philippines. 27 out of 1,000 Filipino children do not get past their 5th birthday. That should bring a tear to our eyes. They're born, they suffer 5 years, and then that's it. But you and I can make a difference for this with this product. It was also noted that COVID-19 could reverse 20 years of progress in reducing hunger and improving health outcomes for millions of children across the globe. Quote by World Vision. So we've got a big responsibility. We can take our message, we can share it, and we can help these children. And you know, the most wonderful thing I found when I understood the 1 meal program is that Manatech does not have to reinvent the wheel by giving money into a program that they themselves are just doing. They've joined up with the 1 meal people, and the funds that are used to take the products to the missions, to the orphans and so forth, is all together in with the program. So it's not somebody doing food here, somebody doing the nutrients there. We put them in that bag together and they mix it up and make the nutritional food for the children. And that's really wonderful. So thanks, Sharon. So it's your choice, and your choice matters as much as mine does. And we just say, Lord, today I ask you for a renewed sense of purpose in my smaller daily choices, knowing that how I spend each moment is how I live my life. You know, our life matters and our choices matter, because we just make life one choice at a time. So I hope my program has been helpful to you. I hope that you'll have a deeper burden and conviction to be able to get out there and share the message that we have, we really have got the best message. You just imagine if the Australian government or even the Queensland government took this program and started feeding it into all of the people of Queensland. Give us all $3,000 a year. Go and buy these products and tie it to the products, and just think what could happen with the general health of the population. If it's helped you and it's helped me, it will help everybody. So we should start getting to our local members and start saying, hey, we've got something that we believe can help. So why not try it? Go out and talk to some of them. Some of them will have deaf ears, but some of them may not. And it's just drip, 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 drip. And you know what? I remember many years ago when I was involved in Christian political activity, there was one politician and he made this statement in King George Square. He said, if you drop water on a stone often enough and long enough, you'll wear the stone away. So you and I, we need to be dripping taps of glyconutritional glycan information. So let's get the message out there. Let's try and share it with everybody and see what happens. Thank you for listening. Thank you, Sharon, for putting the program on. Thank you, Gary. Thank you, Diana. And I want to make a special thank you to my dear daughter. She's been on night duty for 3 solid nights and kind of put together the presentation for me with the beautiful graphics that she found, and we put together this program. And so I'd like to honour Kyna, and I'd like to honour my upline presidential, Ken Green. Thank you, Ken, for the support over the years. And I want to just thank every Maniteca, because you've all contributed. Manitec's a family, and we want to keep that. And Diana made a recommendation before for Queenslanders here in the Greater Brisbane area. Why don't we get together sometime in April and have a get together? COVID has forbidden that, but we can now get out there. So let's get together. You know, strength comes in numbers, and unity is so important. We see our nation at the moment divided in every single area you could possibly mention. We need unity together, and it starts with you and it starts with me. So let's get out there and do it. Okay. Thanks, Sharon. Back to you.
Robyn, I've lost count of how many times I had goosebumps listening to you this morning. It's just amazing, spectacular as always. And Dana, did you want to say something? You're muted, darling. Dana, you're muted.
Thank you. I know I came on because I just thought what a wonderful presentation you've done, and just wanted to acknowledge the power and the potency of it, and I guess gratitude for you in our community. And you're such a wellness warrior, and I find you incredibly brave, and thank you for joining us this morning.
Oh, Diana, it's a privilege actually, because, you know, when something has happened to you personally, as we said before, it's very emotional. I could actually burst into tears at the moment because my heart is full. It's full because of what I've seen them do in my own life, but more than that, to see my little Vincent and to see that the doctors told me, tell his parents, pull the plug, Robyn. You're going to take home a vegetable. And when I see this vegetable now flourishing and actually saying those sentences, you know, I said to God the other morning, can you just loose Vincent's tongue that he will say a full sentence for me? And that very morning is what he said.
Fantastic.
And, you know, it's just exciting. And, you know, yesterday he said to me, I want Manna Bear, please, Robbo. So I had to go and get the Manna Bears. So
the wisdom of the child.
Yep. It's just wonderful, isn't it?
Fantastic.
Robyn, you know, your intellect is so keen and your heart is so pure, and you've blessed us this morning. So thank you so very much. I will bring you back sometime again this year with your permission. And everybody, thank you for being here. We appreciate you. And as Dana said, next week is the Easter break, and the following week will be business focused. And so for those of you that partner with Manitec and make sure this word is spread far and wide, our attempt right now is to support you with really powerful presentations over the next few weeks of the incentive period. So we appreciate you. See you in 2 weeks. And yeah, give us your feedback, give us your ideas. We're happy to receive them. Have a great Saturday, everyone. Bye, Robyn. Thanks again.
Thank you, Sharon. Thank you, Diana. And thank you, Gary. God bless you all. Have a blessed Easter. Bye.
All right. See ya.
Bye.